I'm here with Andrew Sommers, the owner of the VFL and the head coach of Calculated Violence. Tell me a little bit about the card. Tell me about what you're setting up and how excited you are for it.
Oh yes, of course. Very excited. We got VFL 2 coming up. Going to be our second show. It's this Saturday. Right now, we got our team setting up chairs, putting lens on. We got the cage up, ready to go. Very excited about it. The card's looking good. We got Jaden Overman. That's one of our very first Calculated Violence fighters fighting for a belt, for the first VFL amateur title belt at lightweight. It should be an awesome fight. Very exciting kid. He's been off about a year. We'll be back, get in the cage, see what he can do. We actually had a short notice replacement jump in for him. The fight business is crazy, keeping these cards together. So we got Logan Poss is out, and we're bringing in Kelly Ehrman from South Dakota. Very experienced kid, striker, likes to brawl. Should be an exciting fight against Jaden, the grappler, who's been working a lot on his striking skills.
So about the amateurs, and especially about the Calculated Violence amateurs, tell me about the importance of including them on cards like this and getting them experience while they're home, especially in Lincoln.
It's huge. The amateur side of MMA locally is what runs local MMA, and it's what's going to take the kids to the next level, to LFA, Bellator, the UFC, PFL. And big part of amateur is experience. It's not going to be about your win-loss record. It's staying active and keep going. With us able to provide shows on a regular basis, that means our kids get a place to continue to compete. We mix that in with jiu-jitsu, boxing, so they're continuously competing. So yeah, the AMI level right now, and being a new gym, that's where we're real focused on. We actually don't have a pro fighter yet, so we're building up all our amateurs, where we have about 12 of them now, where in a year or two we're not going to rush them. Then we'll start having that pro side. With that though, the pro side's more going to be a regional scene thing. You're only going to have a few kids on each card. The local scene, like we're doing here in Lincoln, is going to be real big on the amateurs, helping them out. And the next step is we're working with state legislation right now to get pancration, which is under 18 MMA. Basically, it's MMA in a cage, but no headshots. Okay. It's legal in Kansas right now. We actually took a Calculated Violence fighter about a month ago to Kansas to fight his first fight there. He won it pretty easily. The kid he beat went on later that night to win on the 135 belt. So we're definitely ready for our kids to start competing in MMA here in Nebraska also.
So a little bit more about the pro side of transitioning these amateurs. I know you guys still have a little bit away. We talked a little bit to Collin about it. What is the steps you're taking to ensure that they go on to be good pros and get the experience inside the octagon and outside?
The big thing is going to be experience. Big problem in MMA is a lot of kids get rushed into pros. They go 4, 5-0, and they're in the pros. And a lot of those fights, they don't even get out of the first round. We really feel you got to be 10, 20 fights deep into your career before you go pro. You've been tested before you go pro. I don't want a kid that's 5-0 go pro. That means he's never been tested. We obviously want to win fights, but we want our kids to fight tough fights, as AMIs especially, for when they get to that pro level, they're ready. The other big part on the other side of it is keeping them professional, teaching them how to handle promotions, how to handle the other fighters in different situations, how to handle sponsors, just different stuff like that, just how to be professional. It's kind of a common sense business thing, but just like in business, you got to teach them, the right way of doing things.
How does the promotion handle challenges when they come up?
In this business, there's a lot of them, especially fight week. Basically, we're leaning on each other, leaning on our team, and just trying to do what's right, making the right decision, making the right call. Big part of it is finding kids fights. This is a violent sport. A lot of kids get hurt. We have illnesses during the winter and just accidents. I think we actually last night had one of our fighters in an accident in Minneapolis get shot. He is okay, he's going to be okay, but he's not going to be able to fight this weekend. So unfortunately, right now we have a kid without a fight. We spent all day messaging, looking for an opponent to fill in short notice, and that's what we'll keep doing. And the big thing is just keep going. It's never going to be perfect. All you can do is just fix the problems and keep going and put the show on. Like the saying goes, the show must go on, so we just push forward through them.
And what do you kind of want to leave your mark on MMA and fighting in general? I know a lot of people see MMA as a way to take people off the streets and kind of, especially in Lincoln, affect the community better than you left it. What's kind of a way that you want, as a team and as an individual, want to shape the community around MMA?
And that's actually exactly why we do it. I've always wanted to be a coach. My grandfather was a coach and athletic director at Lincoln High. I've seen how many people's lives he's changed through sports. And at the end of the day, this is a sport. That's how we treat it. So like I said, the biggest part as a coach is touching all the kids. And I know we have one kid that just started up to lose weight. He's about to have his second match, but you just talked to him. His second match in the cage, he's been in the ring. He's done jiu-jitsu tournaments. He's a totally different kid than a year ago. That's awesome to see. Then we have other kids like LaDamian down here. College wrestler, I think second best in the nation. School just wasn't the thing for him. Unfortunately, with wrestling, that's the only place to do wrestling unless you're in the Olympics. We got him on a path now where I can see him going deep up into the regional scene with a shot at PFL, Bellator, and UFC. It's finding those kids that they had such that athletic ability that it was kind of just gone. You turn 18 as a wrestler and you go get a job and be an adult now. He's still chasing dreams though, so that's awesome. That's going to be the big part, is just helping the kids, being here for the community. Like I said, just pushing them forward, making them better.
It's a great note to end on. This Saturday, 7 p.m., VFL 2. Come out, support the community, and support the fighters. It's a great card. I can't wait to see. I'm going to be there, so it's going to be a great card. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
We're here at the complex in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is the home of the Violence Fight League. They have a big card coming up this weekend, Saturday, December 7th, and we have a fighter here. He's one of the amateur fighters for the VFL, and thanks. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Collin Fischer. I'll be fighting at 185 this weekend against Mark Burkett.
So you're ranked number 10 heavyweight, light heavyweight in Nebraska.
That did go down. I am number 11 now.
Oh, you're number 11 now?
There were a couple of events that happened between our last event and this one, so I'm number 11 now.
So how much progress do you think you're going to make in this next fight? How much of an impact do you think it's going to have on your record?
I mean, I think I'm going to get the win, so I think I'll go from being 1-0 to 2-0. But really, with the ranking systems, I'm not something that's concerning me right now. I mean, it's still amateurs. Once I get into that pro level, that's really something I'll start worrying about. Really, it was just kind of a fun fact that I like to tell people because it makes me sound a lot more important than I am.
Really, it's a good fact. With you fighting in Nebraska, obviously there's going to be a little bit of a time between your fights and how far you can go only in Nebraska. Do you feel like you're going to start and end your amateur career in Nebraska, or do you feel you'll go pro here? What's your plan regarding pro?
Pro's still a little far out. As it goes for my amateur career, I do plan on going to other states and stuff for more fights, more experience. You get a lot of different styles depending on where you go. Like between my last fight and this one, I did have an offer to fight up in Michigan, but they actually couldn't afford to fly us out, so it was an opportunity I missed out on. So I'm already having, people from out of state reaching out to me to fight on their cards, which is super exciting, and I'm awesome to do more.
And I know your background is in boxing, correct? Yep. So you've been boxing for?
About 2 years now.
Okay, so I know you have a background in boxing. You've been boxing for around 2 years now. How much of a learning curve was the transition between just pure boxing and martial arts altogether?
Honestly, the learning curve was huge, especially on the ground. The ground is where I struggled the most when I first started training for MMA. When it came to like kickboxing and Muay Thai, the biggest thing was really checking the kicks. Kicks scared me so much because all the worst injuries you see at MMA come from kicks. Breaking their legs, breaking arms, breaking ribs, all that comes from kicks. So that scared me. Being on the ground, I just wasn't good at. I didn't grow up, doing jiu-jitsu, doing wrestling, so I struggled a lot there too.
And your boxing did show a lot in your first fight. You won by TKO in the first round.
Second round.
Second round. What do you think will be the result? Are you looking for the same kind of win? Are you looking for a quicker win? Are you trying to build more of a stamina-based approach where you're looking for decision? Obviously, people want the knockout, but do you believe that it's in your best interest to just end it early? Do you feel like you could handle the later rounds?
I feel like I could definitely handle the later rounds. I feel like after watching Mark's fight, he's definitely someone who likes to try to go for the knockout early on. I feel like if I can wait out his initial burst, I can tire him out. Hopefully get the knockout in the second or third round, but if it goes to decision, I won't be upset about it.
Of course. I don't think anyone doubts that you're going to lose or win or what's the good one? Everyone thinks that you're going to win. But tell me a little bit about Calculated Violence. How long have you been with the team? And about Andrew, the head coach and owner of the VFL. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me the impact that it's had and how that kind of helped you transition from boxing, which is mostly, I know Southside is a very inclusive and all-together team, but joining like a actual fighting team with the Calculated Violence, how was that? Like, what is the impact that's had on you?
So the transition from Southside as a whole to Calculated Violence, it's a much smaller group we have. We have on average 6 to 9 guys who show up every single day to train and do what we do. So it's a much more tight-knit community. And when it comes to Andrew as like a coach and an owner, you can tell he cares very much for his fighters. One of the stories I always tell is when he had to go pick up a prescription for Tommy because Tommy couldn't go in and do it himself. And that's always something where when I joined the team back in January, I was like, okay, this is a man who knows his fighters and cares for his fighters.
So, no, you won by TKO.
Yep.
Do you plan on showing off a little more of that ground game, jiu-jitsu, wrestling kind of skills that you've developed since your last fight?
I do plan on focusing more on staying on my feet, focusing on my boxing, on my kickboxing, all the stuff that I'm really proficient at. I think if he does take me down, I think the skills I've learned would definitely be more than proficient to either win by submission or get back up, which is what I plan to do.
All right. And me and you have sparred a couple times and done jiu-jitsu. How good of a boxer am I?
He's aight. Like, he's not the worst person I've ever sparred, but he's definitely not the best.
Hear that? I'm not the worst. All right, thanks. This is Collin Fischer.